A customer for life.
Are you tired of your usual barbershop experience? Stop into Scissors and Scotch today. I know what you're thinking. Drink during a haircut? Don't worry. First comes the precision cut from one of their experienced barbers, followed by your complimentary cocktail in their upscale lounge. Scissors and Scotch blends your old school barber feel with your favorite watering hole. And now you can earn $10 off by simply mentioning the ticket. And if you're an existing member, still mention the ticket for an exclusive offer. Offer valid at Lincoln location only. Scissors and Scotch, located just south of 30th and Yankee Hill, and online at lincoln.scissorscotch.com.
Hi, this is Pastor Tom. Did you know there's a place kids can seek out help when they're away from home and something goes wrong? They find themselves in a difficult spot or even a dangerous situation. Maybe another child is bullying them or a stranger is following them. Perhaps on a date and things just go bad. In Lincoln, here's where they can find help. It's called Safe Place. Safe Place is a national program for children taking place in thousands of cities across the United States. The People City Mission is sponsoring this program in our community and has set up a number of businesses, fire stations, schools, and nonprofits around the city to become safe locations where kids can seek out help. They just need to look for the big yellow sign that says Safe Place on it. Then go inside and ask for help. We will be quickly connected to them and ensure they make it back home or to whatever resources are needed. If you'd like to find out more about Safe Place and ways in which you can get involved, just go to pcmlincoln.org. Remember, when we all do a little, we change a lot.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them?
By their clothes,
their age,
the way they speak. Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Bank Strong, and the Ad Council.
Back Nine Golf in South Lincoln is the premier indoor golf experience in the state. The weather in the winter months is cold, windy, and as unpredictable as a tee shot on the 450-yard par 4. With top-of-the-line full-swing simulators and a PGA teaching professional, Back Nine Golf is there to help you improve your game and lower your score. Back Nine Golf is open to the public with 24/7 access for members. Learn about Back Nine's variety of memberships today and see the facility for yourself at 7501 South 15th Street in Lincoln, just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Back Nine Golf, your premier indoor golf and events destination.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mostly sunny skies, be breezy and warm with a high near 56. Tonight, a chance of sprinkles, otherwise probably cloudy skies, be breezy, low around 32. And tomorrow, we'll see mostly sunny skies, but it will be windy and colder with the high just 35. I'm meteorologist Kyle Bucket for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Cobble Chevrolet GMC, the number one fastest growing GMC dealer in the Omaha and Lincoln area. We are going to keep this train rolling in a big way with new half-ton and 4x4 pickup trucks starting at $12,500 off list price or 0% financing. You heard that right, $12,500 off list price or 0% financing. You pick which one works better for you. Please stop on in the dealership and meet the team, or check us out at cobblecars.com. Stock number C280930. All deals with approved credit.
Welcome into Serve and Volley, featuring Nebraska assistant coach and recruiting coordinator Jaylen Reyes. Serve and Volley gives you a look behind the curtain of Nebraska volleyball and a coach's perspective on the world of college athletics. Serve and Volley is sponsored by Love Volleyball Nebraska. Become a Love Volleyball Nebraska member for your chance to engage with Love and its players. Now it's time for First Serve on Serve and Volley with your host, Jaylen Reyes.
All right, welcome in. Serve and Volley. Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. We got the Nebraska Volleyball assistant coach, as always, Jaylen Reyes in studio, as Husker Volleyball remains undefeated after a good start in their NCAA tournament run. We'll definitely dive into that. But before we do, Jaylen Reyes, how's it going on a nice, it's actually a pretty beautiful Tuesday here in the capital city?
Awesome. I got to work early today, and I didn't really go outside all day. Just a lot going on with obviously the tournament and a bunch of stuff going on with the team, and got outside to come head this way after practice. And I was like, whoa, I can take my jacket off. It's really nice outside.
I had the same reaction. I was, running indoors, and then I had an appointment later this afternoon, and I stepped out with the thick jacket, sweatpants on, and had to go back in and redecide what the outfit was today.
Oh, yeah.
So beautiful day. I hope everyone out there is enjoying it. I'm sure everyone's enjoying the current run of this Husker volleyball team. Let's start it off. Last time I talked to you, you guys were getting ready for that Friday match versus Long Island University. You guys win at 25-20, obviously 25 in every one, but you give up 11 in the first set, 15 in the second set, and 17 in that third set. You credit Long Island University for not giving up and seeming to play better as the match went on. What were some of the things that stuck out to you in that one?
Yeah, I think one, since I've been here, and I think I mentioned this last week, like this was definitely the best first round match opponent we've had. Like they are really good. They have some really good players, really good arms. And what I mean by arms is they have like 3 pin attackers that hit the ball hard.
And they were hot coming in.
Yep.
I think we looked at that last time, and it had been a long time since they had a loss.
Yep. So, I mean, they played really well. I thought they just came out and just said, screw it, through the kitchen sink and just hit every ball hard, served every ball. I thought they served really well too. So yeah, no, credit to them. I thought we came out, we were pretty focused first set. I thought we got on a run, and I just thought we took care of business. It wasn't an awesome performance, but it wasn't something that's like, oh boy, we kind of slept on this team. I just thought it was a mix of they played well. We got some other players in, which is always good, which has been a theme for us. So that's kind of one of those things that we're looking forward to that Friday night as well.
What were the sights and sounds from it? Obviously, awesome to be able to host a regional here at the Bob, and everything on TV. It's great as well. You get to watch these things. They broadcast them more often. It looks great on there. What was it like in the actual arena?
Yeah, no, it was great. I thought one, people showed up ready for volleyball. One, because San Diego and Kansas State played a really fun 5-setter, and it's I always kind of say this when we do like the non-conference tournaments in the fall / when we get to host NCAA tournament games, especially if the match goes long, at the end of their game, they're playing in front of a sold-out crowd, and it's kind of like the crowd starts cheering for certain teams. Like I feel like they were starting to kind of cheer for the Kansas State team purely because they had 3 girls from Nebraska on them. So, but it's just, like I was talking to one of the coaches from San Diego after the match, and obviously, later that night, and obviously he was bummed, they weren't able to pull that one out. But he was just like, man, if you're going to lose a first round match, it's pretty awesome that you got to do it. And we got to play like the 3rd, 4th, and 5th set in front of like your guys' entire crowd that was like pretty neutral, but like appreciated volleyball. And I mean, it was a close match until about 9-9 in the 5th. So one, because that match took long, we started a little late, which means we didn't have like people like straggling in for the match. Like the crowd was ready to go. It's a different environment. If you've been there for an NCAA tournament game, it's not, we're not playing the Nebraska intro or not I always think this is super silly, but I kind of understand. Like the announcer has to be neutral. So like how he announces something for one team, which is kind of funny. You would just think they would get rid of that because that's kind of the advantage of hosting. But I get it. It's the NCAA's tournament. They want their stuff going on and they make the rules. But no, it was a great, it was per usual, a great crowd. Crowd was ready for volley. And I think they liked seeing great volleyball, especially from teams. We had 2 teams from the Midwest, one from Long Island, New York, and one from San Diego. So we kind of had, all tips of the country kind of match there. And it's cool to see like different styles of play. And obviously all of us were successful enough to qualify for this tournament. So it was a really good volleyball weekend here in Lincoln for sure.
Absolutely. And chance to scout, who are all the other teams in this one that might end up breaking through. But really good game from Andy Jackson in that one. She had 10 kills, 5 blocks, and did hit a school postseason record as well with a hitting percentage of 83%. Rebecca Allen, great game as well. She had 10 kills to add on to it. Who were kind of some of the key players in that one that obviously, we say this all the time. It's hard to get through them all, but some of the ones that just stick out to you off the top of your head.
I thought the middles did a really nice job. I thought Taylor Landfair and Harper Murray actually played a really good game too. I thought we passed the ball pretty well this weekend, which is going to be a huge key going into this weekend. So I thought night one, a lot of people played really well. And then we were able to get like, a bunch of players in from the bench, and, they were to kind of keep it rolling. I thought Campbell Flynn came in and set a nice match, or a nice third set for the most part, that she got to play in the second set with Ali Check. And I don't know. I just feel like, like you said, you can throw out a bunch of names, but, definitely the middles had a really nice match, nice weekend for sure for them.
How great has that been for the middles this year? And we've talked about it in times past, and you guys are welcome to join in as well. 402-464-5685. But they're just a big part of the offense now.
Yeah.
And they're putting teams in a flux when you have those middle hitters hitting, especially at the percentages you're seeing right now.
For sure. One, Coach Brendan Hagar, his first coaching job, he's done such a good job with them these last couple of years. I used to be their position coach the last couple of years, and with the staff change, I moved over to the pin attackers, and Brennan's done like a really, really good job, and elevated their games even more. And credit to Andy and Becca. But yeah, like when you have two middle blockers that are consistent threats, it makes it really hard. You have to honor them, so it makes it really hard to gang up on certain pin hitters. And they just make the offense so much easier. And the fact that now we can set them from different parts of the court and we don't necessarily have to pass perfect the whole time to set them, it just increases the amount of balls they get. So it makes everybody else around them more efficient because they're pulling defenders away from Harper, or pulling away from defenders from Virginia, or our back row attackers. So a lot goes on when you have a solid middle attack. And it's like, we have the luxury of having two really good middles that we can set, which is, a lot of teams, even good teams, they have one. And then when the other one's in, you can kind of play off of them. When it comes to, for us, it's nice that we have six rotations of middle blocker pressure offensively, which is really important.
Long Island University do anything different that you haven't seen yet?
No, I mean, they play, honestly, they have an opposite that plays all the way around. They set her in the back row. Kind of like Olivia Babcock for Pitt or a Kennedy Martin from Penn State. Physicality-wise, very different overall, including the opposite, but they played very much like them. They have two good outside hitters that have nice arms. They don't set as much middle, but they set a lot to the opposite. So we kind of talked about it as like, hey, they're going to play a lot like Penn State did, but maybe not as physical in terms of like as big a human beings on the court for them, So that's kind of how we describe them going into the match.
Well, and for their sake too, everything they were doing was working. So it's not terribly surprising they want to switch all that out. Moving on though, you go to Kansas State next. You guys win in another sweep. First set, Kansas State at 17, second set 21, third set 16. Really just a good game for Nebraska across the board. Kills 43-27. Nebraska, once again, you get 7 aces as well. That added some easy offense. And the only category they did win in was blocks. They had 8 to Nebraska's 5. And then 48 digs for Nebraska and 40 assists as well. Some of the thoughts coming out of that one with Kansas State, who, really good second set. You guys close it up in that third set. But I don't want to disrespect any of these teams. Another solid performance. Felt like their shot to catch that momentum was the second set, and Nebraska was able to clamp down on it.
Yeah, I mean, for us offensively, we struggled in this match. It was kind of a old school Nebraska, how we used to grind out wins, serving and passing and floor defense. That's kind of how we won this match. Sure, block did a good job in terms of touches. We didn't stuff a lot of balls, but I thought our block did a really nice job of trying to make their two outside hitters who they set a lot. Shaylee Myers, a Lincoln Southwest alum, and Nia Clinton. They were, a team that like just set their outsides a lot. They set it fast, the pins, and I thought our block and defense did a really nice job of holding them. We were very high error. So if you look at like our attack errors, that's why our hitting percentage, I believe, is around like 250 compared to usually it's like in the higher twos, lower. It's usually like in the lower threes. We were really high error, and a bunch of us were. So that's kind of something we've been addressing these last couple of days. But I thought Kansas State also just played a really nice match. I thought they served really well, even though we passed it good. And I just thought they did a nice job of being in certain spaces that our attackers feel comfortable hitting the ball and made us hit somewhere else. And I just thought we, kind of like on basketball, where you hear the announcers when they're calling the games, when you talk about, hey, certain teams are like settling for bad shots. They're settling for like the long two, or, hey, you're a big and you got a guard guarding you and you settle for a fadeaway instead of like really like kind of putting like a good low post move on somebody. Right. It was kind of like, I just felt like offensively, we were settling for stuff. We didn't, take the fight to the block versus we just try to hit around them, and that led to some errors. So I just felt like we were high error. I thought everything else we did really well. I thought we served really well, like you mentioned. I thought we played great defense. Even though we hit 250, we held them. That was a really good offensive team. We held them to like, I believe it was like 118 or something like that.
Yeah, you guys all the money. Good memory, 118.
So I just felt like my take from the match was I felt like we were really high error, and for us, it's like we want to be aggressive, but it was one of those things where like the kill percentage wasn't, if we're killing a lot of balls, I'm okay with the errors, the aggression, but it wasn't like, oh my gosh, we're killing a huge amount of attacks for how aggressive we were being in terms of, how many balls we were hitting out. And it wasn't even getting blocked. It was how many balls we were hitting out of bounds, So that's something we need to watch for sure as we head into play Kansas this week. But that was kind of my synopsis. But I just thought I thought Olivia Mock and Lainey Choboy played a great match. I thought they passed really well. I thought Harper Murray passed really well. I just thought offensively there was still something out there for us. Another shout out I want to give is in the second set, for those that remember the match, Ali checked in because Virginia Adriano got off to a slow start. And she killed a bunch of big balls at the end of that set that, hey, they kind of get some momentum at the end of the first, even though we had a lead. We are able to hold on to that one. And then we start the second. It's kind of anyone's game. We get a lead, and they start coming back to where, they're within striking distance at the end. And Ali Check, I thought, killed a bunch of huge balls that were, we were able to kind of keep our separation and kind of hold on to the lead. And then credit to Virginia, we inserted her back in the game in the third set, and she played a really, really nice third set. So, but hey, if it wasn't for Ali Check, I don't even know if we win that set, and you never know where the match goes from there. So, again, our depth coming into play, we're able to bring in a lefty that's a different player than Virginia, and, credit to her. She played really well.
Yeah, and a lot of the postseason play, you'll see that a lot in every sport. Who's that quote-unquote role player? Not in a demeaning way by any means, but there's that player who's going to step up in key situations that's not on the scouting report, or they're on the scouting report, but maybe not in that fashion. And you're going to need to rely on those big game performances. Is that something that you talked about in the middle of the match, at the end of the match, in terms of just kind of the errors on not being aggressive and kind of trying to work around the blocks as opposed to attacking?
Yeah. I mean, it's funny, right? Like sometimes I'm okay with errors if they're like aggressive and like high percentage swings that end up becoming errors, right? So, if you're aggressive, you're going to make service errors. If you're aggressive, you're going to make attacking errors. I just felt like we were bailing the defense out a lot and not kind of taking the fight to them, right? We were hitting balls in areas where we hope this ball gets touched on the way out, right? Versus, no, I'm going to hit the ball to a high percentage part of the court. And if it hits the block and goes out of bounds, great, or the defender can't dig it, great. I just felt like we didn't take it was also like just in our approaches to be able to go in when the attackers like use their footwork to get their feet to the ball and hit the ball. I didn't feel like, to a degree, there was something left out there that we could do better, if that makes sense. And it wasn't 100% of the time, but it was like there was some big rallies where we could have like step close to the ball, using a volleyball term. Like step close is the kind of the last two steps before someone jumps to go hit the ball. We call it our step close. And I just thought there was we left a little meat on the bone that night. And I just felt like we were a little, I don't know, passive is probably too strong of a word, but there was a good amount of moments in the match where I felt like we let their block and defense dictate to us versus, we need to dictate to the defense a little more. And I thought, that's something we've been talking about and trying to address in practice, so that way we can correct it for Friday night.
Quickly, let's go to the text line. We got 1117 Edno text chiming in. How we decide if Virginia Adriano is going to let her serve rip down the home stretch here?
Yeah, I mean it's a little. First, this is a great question. I guess number one is we always want it. We always want her to rip it. A lot of it depends on her toss. So sometimes why she holds up or maybe hits a short serve is because if her toss doesn't allow her to get after it, if she tosses it too far to her left, being a right-handed player, or not far out in front of her enough, and if she tosses it above her head and she tries to hit it, she's going to get underneath it, and that thing's going to end up, spilling someone's Busch Light in the fourth row. And we're not, at Nebraska Volleyball, we're not about spilling people's beer, So, so it's a lot of it is a decision on her based on her toss, if that makes sense. So it's not us coaches are telling her to,
Right.
hey, it's not like we're calling pitches where, hey, throw the changeup, throw the curveball, throw this, and then like once in a while we call a fastball. A lot of it is player determined based on, comfort of what zone she wants to serve, but she can hit it to a bunch of different zones, especially straight ahead. A lot of her decision is based on her toss, and that's something that we kind of talk to our players about. Serving is all about your toss. We kind of equivalent it to serving is like the one skill in volleyball that you're in total control over, right? When you're passing a serve, it's a serve being hit by somebody else. When you're hitting a set, it's based on where the ball is being passed, and that might affect where the setter is, and then the setter setting you the ball. Versus when you think about it, a serve is it's like a free throw in basketball, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no defenders. Like technically, there's nobody that's able to affect what you're going to do. It's based on your release. It's based on your toss. It's based on your hand contact and how far you toss it into the court. So a lot of that is like based on the toss. So for us, the simple way to answer that question is it's really in the toss because our staff really wants her to kind of get after it a little bit because we feel like that could be, an extra point or two of match that, could be the difference for us to keep playing or we're going home.
Yeah, that makes total sense too. Momentum, feeling it out. Again, you don't want to call it if it's one of those matches where she hasn't quite had the feel on it for that serve, and if she's got it, she'll feel it out herself. Is that something you put a lot of emphasis on down the stretch here? Was serving? As just going through the scores, especially at the end of regular season, and now looking at some of this postseason play as well, you're seeing them get quite a few aces.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that we as the season goes on, right, there's a little bit of like, okay, people keep telling us how good we are because of results, right? And don't get me wrong, we're talented, and obviously we've had a great season so far, but it's like, how can we get better? How can we keep evolving and not just, now we've had the luxury, but also we haven't had the realm of sometimes you learn so much about your team when you lose, right? Obviously, now we don't want to learn that lesson, right? So for us, it was like, okay, we're not losing. How can we get better? So whether it was reaching out to other coaches that are just watching us and stuff like that, or even some of my buddies that maybe even played us, and if they ask me, I'll try to ask them like, hey, what did you think? Obviously, like we're physical, we're talented, but what did you expect a little more of and stuff like that? And just in general, just looking at comparing ourselves to other teams, we feel like, hey, one thing we could definitely step up is the amount of service pressure. Not necessarily like I thought we were a good serving team because, one, we just serve a lot of balls in the court. So we make other teams side out. That's a huge thing.
Mm-hmm.
But we feel like, okay, we can put a little pressure. Maybe that leads to more aces, but we're okay with a couple more errors because, again, just like I was talking about attacking, if you're going to be aggressive, you're going to miss some, right? But it's like for us, like a big thing of that, I thought, in my opinion right now, is Virginia's serve has gotten better, right? That's leading to some points, obviously. And then Lainey Choboy's serve has gotten a lot better. So it's like those two guys serve a lot for us. So the fact that, hey, their serves are getting better, it helps us point score a little more.
Absolutely. And with that being said, before we go to break here, we do got one. Thomas and Lincoln, you can't answer it. It says, who'd you like to see against the finals? But I know you're a volleyball fan. How much time do you get to just watch all the other teams in there? So I know if it was up to you and you weren't coaching a team, you'd probably sit down and watch every game if you could. How much time are you getting to watch some of the other teams out there?
We try to. I mean, this weekend's tough because everyone's playing. We went out, we kind of hung out at a buddy's, like a friend's bar restaurant last Thursday, and we watched Utah State upset Tennessee. We watched Creighton come back against Northern Iowa.
That was a great one.
Or Northern Colorado, sorry. Who else did we watch? We watched Kentucky win their first round match. There was a bunch of people playing. It's cool. They have I can't remember what they call it. I think it's called Volleyball 360 or something like that. Or I can't remember what they called it, but it was kind of like a
Red Zone.
Yeah, it was like an NFL Red Zone type for volleyball on ESPN Plus, and we were able to kind of get it on television. And then there was a couple other TVs there that we were able to just kind of dial in on a certain match that we wanted to watch. So there was a lot of good. Cal Poly upsetting USC,
that's right,
which was a big one. So we were able to watch some matches, but part of me also is trying to just focus on our part of the bracket because I mean I think our regional is one of the tougher ones for sure, with Kansas coming to town to play us on Friday. And then obviously Louisville and Texas A&M are both playing great right now. So there's a lot of, as much as I really enjoy being a part of the event. We're so focused on like our portion of it, just because we know our portion is pretty tough to get through to get to Kansas City next week, hopefully.
Absolutely. And speaking of Kansas City, we'll talk about what's coming up ahead here for the Huskers and the road to Kansas City, what that would look like. So don't go anywhere. It is Serve and Volley, Nebraska Volleyball assistant coach Jaylen Reyes, Harrison Arns on the ones and twos as always. Don't go anywhere. We still got 2 more segments on the other side. And again, you guys welcome to join in. 402-464-5685 or via any of the streams. We'll talk to you in a bit.
Back Nine Golf in South Lincoln is the premier indoor golf experience in the state. The weather in the winter months is cold, windy, and as unpredictable as a tee shot on the 450-yard par 4. With top-of-the-line full-swing simulators and a PGA teaching professional, Back Nine Golf is there to help you improve your game and lower your score. Back Nine Golf is open to the public with 24/7 access for members. Learn about Back Nine's variety of memberships today and see the facility for yourself at 7501 South 15th Street in Lincoln, just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Back Nine Golf, your premier indoor golf and events destination.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines, unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge, with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards, just south of 48th and Holdridge.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sartor Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at sartorheyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
Here at Midwest Bank, we want to thank all the generous donors who helped us make our 2025 turkey dinner for schools a success. Thanks to the generosity, we raised enough money to provide 191 families across 6 different schools in Lincoln with a full Thanksgiving meal. With your support, we've made Thanksgiving Day for these families a little brighter. We want to wish everyone a healthy and happy Thanksgiving. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank, member FDIC.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Hi, my name is Molly Party. I'm a realtor with MP Dodge Real Estate. I'm a newly licensed agent and considered numerous brokerages before deciding on MP Dodge. I chose the company that gives me the most support in my new career, plus guidance and encouragement along the way. MP Dodge has a unique mentoring program for new agents. It's helped jumpstart my career and has a supportive management team and administrative staff. So if you're contemplating a career in real estate, look no further than MP Dodge. It will be the best decision you make.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Make plans to be at the Icebox on Saturday, December 13th for Teddy Bear Toss Night as the Stars host the Dubuque Fighting Saints. Bring a teddy bear or stuffed animal from home or purchase one at the game. When the Stars score their first goal of the game, it's time to throw the bears and stuffed animals onto the ice, with all being donated to the Community Action Partnership of Lancaster and Saunders counties to help local children in need during the holidays. That's the Teddy Bear Toss on Saturday, December 13th with the Lincoln Stars.
A business's phone is the lifeline to its customers and potential clients. That's why it's so important that you can take calls seamlessly from anywhere, whether you're on the road or in the office. Hamilton Business Technologies can help ensure your phone rings wherever you are. We can equip your headquarters and any of its locations with the right tools for smooth, professional call handling. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we know how to keep Nebraska businesses connected. Learn more at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Welcome into Serve and Volley with your host, Nebraska assistant coach and recruiting coordinator, Jaylen Reyes.
Welcome back in, Serve and Volley, second segment. We'll get to what the road is going to look like if Nebraska Volleyball wants to head down there to Kansas City. But before we do got one more off the text line. Great question from our guy, Todd in Omaha, who's been...
My guy, Todd. He's back. I love it.
He says, great question, too. He said, hey, Coach, what did K-State do well that the non-coach eye wouldn't have seen?
One, I thought defensively, they did a really good job. Without getting into like all the nuts and bolts, I just felt like they didn't get flustered when we went on runs. In my opinion, just watching them, they didn't change totally who they are. You know, it's not like, okay, we knew they came out, they're going to come in and they set their two outside hitters a lot of volleyballs. They didn't come out and try to like do something different. You know, they didn't try to turn into, okay, we're going to set a lot more back row, and they're going to set a lot to the opposite in certain situations. We're going to slow it down because we're playing Nebraska. So one, they stuck to who they wanted to be. That's the most important thing. I just thought too that they did a nice job of like, hey, even though we're a good volleyball team, we're very gifted offensively. There's certain areas of the court that our girls liked in, depending on which one you ask about. There's certain areas of the court that we liked that each individual likes to attack and hit the ball toward. So I thought they did a nice job of like getting people in certain spots. And if you wanted to hit that shot in this direction, you had to make it a better shot, or you had to hit it higher or harder. And then they had defenders there too. So I just thought they did a good job of just like, they were well prepped for us, if I'm being honest. And I know I'm saying that and we still hit like 255. And I know I'm saying like, I just thought they made us like struggle a little bit, and that just happens in volleyball sometimes. And I thought they did a nice job, and I thought they also just made some really good defensive plays. You know, Harper hit a ball down the line, and it just hit a defender and ricocheted, and you know they were able to extend the rally, and they ended up winning the rally. So I just thought they did a nice job of kind of just being in good defensive spots, high percentage spots that we like to hit the ball. They just put defenders there and decided, okay, if you want to kill the ball, Andy Jackson, you have to hit it here and here now, which it caused some errors. Or Harper Murray, if you want to kill the ball, you have to hit it here now, you know? And I thought for us, we could still hit our spots, but we had to be a little more aggressive with it. And I just felt like that's where, for me, like there was a little meat left on the bone where we kind of, okay, we see you here, and we started hitting shots that maybe we weren't as comfortable with, and that led to some errors. Again, not the end of the world. Right. That's going to happen. That's happened in matches before. Or what I'm saying is there's times where, okay, it happens to this one player, but these two other players have a really nice match. You know, I thought Kansas State did a nice job of trying to like, I know I'm saying this when we literally still hit 250, and Andy and Becca had really good matches, you know, and Taylor had a nice match still. But I thought they did a good job of trying to take away a lot of the stuff that we like to do or are super comfortable or has come easy to us and made us beat them with the stuff that maybe we're not as comfortable with, which we're still capable of doing if we do the correct things on our side of the net. But I thought that's one thing. I thought that's the two things they did the best is they stayed true to themselves and they're in really good defensive spots to play against us.
You tip your cap to Kansas State, but the Husker volleyball team stays undefeated and they do win in a sweep. Coming up, though, they do have Kansas. That one coming up this Friday, 8:30-ish, about 30 minutes until the game prior, which would be Texas A&M and Louisville wraps up. What are you seeing in Kansas volleyball program?
I mean, they're really talented. I mean, Matt Ulmer left Oregon, took over a team that they didn't have a lot of people like leave in the portal when their coach retired, but they had like a lot of their players from last year. They were all graduating. So like, he has a brand new team. I mean, I'm trying to think. There's probably one or two players that played a significant role for Kansas last year that plays for them now. They didn't really grab that many transfers. They have a couple outsides that were kind of like on the bench or about to play or got some reps. They have a setter that was on the team there last year. They have one middle that was on the team, and they have one middle that came in that's a foreigner.
Mm-hmm.
They have an opposite that is from Serbia, and she's 6'6". She's a really physical specimen. She's a big girl. And she's from Serbia, so they have a foreigner there. So he's done a really nice job. They have one transfer, I believe, from Oregon State, who's the libero, that actually was committed to him at Oregon. And then when he decided to come to Kansas, she switched her commitment and ended up coming, to KU with him. But, they do a really good job. I mean, this Oregon in the past, I'm going to say Oregon because that's where that staff came from. We've had run-ins with them in the tournament. 22, they beat us in 5. In 18, we beat them to go to the Final Four, actually. And then, last year we played against them up in Eugene when so we've had a lot of history with that staff / I know Nebraska, Kansas has had some history in 2022. We actually beat Kansas before we lost to Matt Ulmer's Oregon team. So it's kind of funny. That was the last time we played Kansas, and that was a drag out. It just, I think the proximity, a lot of our kids know that a lot of their kids, just because of proximity and club volleyball and stuff like that. And, we're very familiar with that staff, but they're playing really well. They've kind of had I don't know how they would describe it. But they had they scheduled really hard in the beginning of the season. They lost, if you look at their schedule, I think they played like an insane amount of 5-set matches in the beginning of the season. I want to say it was like out of their first 10 matches, I want to say like 6 of them or 7 of them went to 5 sets, whether they won or lost them, and against good teams like Creighton. I know they played Vanderbilt. I know they played Texas. They played Wisconsin.
Vanderbilt 5 sets, they win 3-2. Penn State 5 sets, 2-3. Wisconsin 5 sets, and again, these are all ranked opponents. Number 8 Wisconsin 2-3. Number 12 Creighton 2-3. Then they beat Bowling Green. They had a number 17 Purdue 2-3.
Yep.
They were to get some sweeps early, but it was early on. There was a lot of just 5 sets.
Everyone's joking with Matt. Like, I wonder if he's getting paid by the set. But
he is. He's making good money this year.
Yeah, exactly. So, so they kind of start off one just with the tough schedule, like you mentioned, and then the Big 12 was a really good year. They got they got the most teams in the tournament, just because they kind of had the kind of point of the season where Arizona State ran away with it, but it was like 2 through 7 could all beat each other. So it was like you could go weeks like going 2-0, you could split, or like some weeks you could go 0-2. So they kind of, I think it seemed like in the beginning they were doing this, they were going up, and they kind of came down a little bit, and they went up, and then they lost a couple games. I believe they went on the road to BYU and Utah, and they lost a couple of those games. Or maybe it was at home. I know they lost to BYU and Utah in the same week, and I think it was like the second to last week of conference play. And I think I believe they finished off. And
yeah, it was both a back-to-back games, and they lost 0-3.
Yeah, so I think they've been up and down. Obviously, I wasn't following it as much at the time because we were busy with the Big Ten season. But it seems like they wrote the ship, like we've watched a little bit of video on them. We'll dive way more into them tomorrow. They're able to beat a really good Miami team that has a really gifted player on it. And, kind of able to come out with a 4-set victory. So, we're not overlooking anybody here on out. Everyone's really good. Everyone, you could lose to anybody now. So I think it's one of those things where we need to take care of our side of the net. But, they play an interesting style of volleyball. They their setter is super active as an attacker, right? You're going to see her turn and hit some balls. Even in transition, like they're going to dig the ball toward the net and she's going to run up to the net, look like she's going to set it and then kind of contort her body and hit it. They like to set a middle. They set a middle blocker. Her last name's Patak, and they set her a really fast slide. And then they have an opposite that's just they set high balls to her in system, and she just goes up and hammers it because she's 6'7". And then they have some two good little left sides that are really good volleyball players. They do a nice job passing. When they're rolling and they're passing, they're tough to stop. So we're gonna have to serve tough, and obviously our block and defense is gonna have to be on par to what we did with Kansas State, and stuff like that. So from here on out, everyone's really good. So anyone's capable that's left of winning this whole thing. And, it's going to come down to, okay, which team is prepared the most, but also who's going to just go for it in those big moments. And, we envision Friday night, there'll be some big moments for sure.
Yeah, well said. The winner of this one between Kansas and Nebraska will have their probably, a great matchup on whoever comes out on the other side between Texas A&M and Louisville. This one from Tyler on YouTube, and it's right along the same wavelength here. He says, how do you prepare for so many potential teams in the tournament, never knowing who you might have to play? I know you can never look ahead and be where your feet are, but how do you possibly manage it? And again, it's kind of where I was going. Are you looking at that Texas A&M Louisville game at all at this point, or is it just Kansas?
No, yesterday it was like a lot of volleyball. You're still really in practice. You're really working on yourself, right? But there's things that we're implementing and maybe some defensive bursts that is other team themed. And we've done that all year. So like for an example, the tough part about the tournament is in the Big Ten season, the two opponents you will play. And no matter if you win or lose the first night, you will play that whatever opponent the next time, right? So so you can kind of for sure prep. During the tournament, it's a little harder because it's like, you're going to play one team, but there's a possibility you could play either team, right? I have no idea who's going to win Louisville or Texas A&M. So yesterday was kind of like Louisville day in practice. Today was Texas A&M day. And then what we try to do is, because there's a day in between, hopefully if we were to advance, we'd get Saturday to prep for whoever wins. So we'd spend 2 days, one day earlier in the week and then a day before we play them. And then tomorrow and Thursday will be more Kansas prep, because at the end of the day, the Louisville and Texas A&M prep only becomes an issue if we were to advance past Kansas. So the rest of the week, starting tonight for me, once I get home, is diving deeper on Kansas, even though I feel like we've kind of already started, but the rest of the week will be Kansas themed. And, but yeah, that's kind of how we typically do it.
So it's not too different from regular season.
No, not the only thing is you add that extra team,
right?
Because there's the possibility of if someone advances, even if you think, oh, this team should win, you kind of have to have something prepped just in case there's an upset in the tournament, which we see a lot of, and I would expect some upsets this weekend.
Do you keep in the same intensity in these practices, or do you pull back a little bit now that, it's only X amount of games? How many games you want? I mean, it's in your hands at this point. Is the intensity pulled back a little bit, or is it the same?
I think the intensity is the same. I think what we try to do now is try to cut back on the load. So the intent we're going for the quality, not the quantity. Right. So shortening up stuff, instead of getting a ton of reps on 2 courts, maybe we spend a good amount of time on it on 1 court, but that just cuts the amount of reps down for everybody, if that makes sense. Because at the end of the day now too, there's a little bit of you kind of by now have made your bed training. Right now it's who's the freshest, because we expect, and I don't know. I hate to say this, and I hope people understand when I say this. It's not realistic to think that we're just going to walk through everybody the rest of the way. I know people might freak out if we lose a set on Friday, but this is the Sweet 16 and on. Everybody is really good, and we've been on a awesome ride this year, and we've done some really good things against really good teams. But now it's definitely, it's always been this way for me, but it's 3 sets by 2 points time. That's all that matters. If it's 1, 2, 3, awesome. If it's 1, 2, 4, great. If it's 3, 4, 5, awesome. It's just 3 sets by 2 points. And, for us, it's we're gearing up for, hey, we need to be ready to play 5 sets on Friday, and we have to be ready. Hopefully, if we are able to advance, we need to be ready to play 5 sets again on on Sunday, and, we'd love to take on that Sunday problem because that means we were able to get past Friday. But, for us, it's not about, oh my gosh, hey, are the numbers going to look perfect? Or, hey, do we have to play perfect volleyball? It's about, hey, can we trust what we've been doing? Can we go for it while we're out there? Can we be prepared and understand some of the concepts of how a team's going to attack us? But I think a lot of it is just what are we going to do in certain situations?
Well said. And I think the Husker fan base can get along with that. I mean, they don't really care. They just want the win. As I've learned my time since I got down here in 2018 in Lincoln, as long as there's the W at the end of it, nobody really cares about how it necessarily looked at the end of the day. So with that being said, this is Serve and Volley Nebraska Volleyball assistant coach Jaylen Reyes. Harrison Arns on the 1s and 2s. If you guys want to get any last-second comments, feel free to do so, as this will be the final segment coming up right here, 93.7 The Ticket, ticketfm.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mostly sunny skies, be breezy and warm with a high near 56. Tonight, a chance of sprinkles, otherwise partly cloudy skies, be breezy, a low around 32. And tomorrow, we'll see mostly sunny skies, it will be windy and colder with a high just 35. I'm meteorologist Kyle Bucket for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
Join Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealer, for our upcoming Parts and Service Expo events. Get 12% off parts the day of your local event. Can't make it? You can still save 10% on parts and 20% off planter parts December 1st through the 12th. It's the best time of the year to stock up on oil and filters. Grab John Deere gifts for under the tree and schedule your service inspections. Don't miss out. These deals only come around once a year at Landmark Implement. Find your nearest expo at landmarkimp.com and experience the Landmark difference.
And now, introducing the starting lineup of your Nebraska Huskers. Starring Allo Fiber. At number 1, Allo Internet. At number 2, no satellite dish required. DirecTV through Allo. And at number 3, Allo Mobile. Allo Fiber, the official internet, TV, and mobile partner of Husker Nation. Level up your game and go to allofiber.com/Husker Radio.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197. All ticketing options for the 2026 Love Nebraska season are now available. Single match tickets start as low as $16, even cheaper if you want to bring a group. Don't miss your chance to see professional stars like Jordan Larson and Lexi Rodriguez in action this season. Purchase your preferred ticketing option today by visiting lovneb.com/tickets.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. Welcome into Serve and Volley with your host, Nebraska Assistant Coach and Recruiting Coordinator Jaylen Reyes.
Welcome back in. A Serve and Volley final segment right here. You got a little bit of time, 402-464-5685, in case you want to get anything in there before we go ahead and switch things over to a couple of Husker golfers, women golfers at that. So that is the non-debut, but the second show of that one coming down the pipeline here. Big Red Birdies is back. Only a little bit of time here left. I want to ask you, how different is postseason play than regular season play? Like the atmosphere itself, is there that uptick that you're seeing in everybody where, you know, that 110% or the cliche that they always say?
Yeah. I mean, it's just, it's win or go home time, you know? And I think everyone in the part of the atmosphere understands that, right? Whether it's players, coaches, fans. I mean, it's tangible. You can feel even the first round, right? Even for the first round of the tournament, we start off with University of San Diego playing Kansas State. You can feel like this is not the regular season, you know, August, early September non-conference matches. This is like win or go home. Coaches get contract extensions. Coaches can get better jobs. Players play really well. You know, they up their stock. You know, it's like it's a tangible thing during the tournament, and that's kind of what makes it really exciting and nerve-wracking at the same time.
How big is it to have players like Harper Murray, you know, Alec, Choboy, players that have been there before, that when it does, that temperature increases, they've seen it before and they've performed in it as well?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, it's just you have a, you know, perspective, right? And experience is huge because you just can't give it to people, but it's also, hey, they've been through the ups, they've been through the downs, and they know it's usually on average it's somewhere in between. And you know, you kind of trust what they're gonna do in the big moments, and you know, and to a degree, it's just the experience of being through those, whether it's gone well or it's not gone well, is a huge deal for sure.
Yeah, it's because you go back 2 years ago, you see some of those same faces. That was Texas, and then last year you make it to the semifinals, and it was Penn State. But you have all those players that have seen there that have been just inches away from winning it. You know, do you feel like you hear some of that motivation coming from those players after being so close? Like, are they coaching up the younger players that maybe haven't been there yet? Are you hearing some of those conversations?
Yeah, I mean, we've had some meetings when we were in Bloomington a couple weeks ago. We kind of talked about it, you know, just kind of talk about the elephant in the room. Obviously, the boss is different, but a lot of us have been here through all that, where we feel like, okay, you know, we didn't maybe go for it or play as well when we really needed to these last couple of years.
Well, Danny Busboom Kelly was also in the same boat, different team, but same boat.
Yep. So I think for us, it's just like kind of getting the elephant in the room out of the way and just talking about, hey, we didn't finish, and that's something we need to do, and we need to finish. And, you know, we've been working hard since January for this opportunity. Now it's here. are we going to, we got to seize the moment. And that's something that's super important, but it's also really hard to do because you have 15 other good teams trying to do the same thing.
Should be a lot of fun. And again, it's going to pick right back up this Friday. It starts off with Texas A&M and Louisville, and that one is that 6 p.m. game. And then 8:30 is what they got. Depends how long the game goes, but roughly about 30 minutes, a little bit after, until that first game gets over. And then Nebraska will take on Kansas for the road. They won that one. They got one more, and then they'll be heading to Kansas City. And you just know Husker fans, that's a nice little travel for those guys. They'll pack that thing as well. With that being said, that is Jaylen Reyes, Nebraska Volleyball assistant coach. I'm Harrison Arns, but don't go anywhere. Take a weeknights. We'll keep it rolling. Big Red Birdies coming up next right here, 93.7 The Ticket.